planet. You see it in the papers, you read it every day. The riots and the fires going on in South LA. The muggers and the government, they're all wanting the same thing. They take you for your money, whatever else spring. Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Player's Planet. Take me. Guitar Player's Planet. 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 Sunny skies, the smell of palm tree air. Looking back, I could never feel fair. The way the music has touched my soul, the way that the South holds its control. But I've got a new way to choose. I'm gonna start running back to the land of the new. Oh, na 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 na. maker. Can I break this spell? Always
on, and there we go. Hey.
All right. Are we
Hey,
live?
we're live.
We're
At
live.
9:02.
We are.
9:02 p.m. We're getting better and better. You know, I think we
Oh
made
my
one.
goodness.
Yeah, man, it's good stuff. I love it. I love it. You know, I'll do a wardrobe change later. I got my AstroWorld trip. I totally forgot to put it on. I'll do it.
What's
Yeah.
up?
There's Tarek.
Oh, doggy wants to come in. Now doggy wants to come out. All right.
Hey, Tarek.
And all right.
Everybody's showing up.
Yeah, everybody's showing up.
Yeah.
Everybody's showing up. Tarek, Senthil, how's it going? Steve, what's up?
Steve.
Well, it's past.
It's past 9. We're here.
It's 9:02.
Right.
9:03. I mean, come on. We usually don't start
Hey.
till like 9:10.
I
And there's
know,
Frank.
right?
So somebody's still Frank, Steve. What's going on, people?
Steve.
Yeah. So we got some good
Everybody's
stuff
jumping
going
in
on.
now.
We got some huge news today. Today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Oh yeah. Come on. Captain
Oh,
Kirk made it to space.
he did.
He
It was awesome.
made it to space. I watched it, and it was great. And he was crying and all
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah, he was something, man. I was watching the video of him between him and
Yep.
after it all happened, and him talking with Jeff,
yep,
and it was like he was like so profound, you know. He
Yeah.
was just like, my God, you know. It was like he didn't know how to he didn't know, he was like speechless. He was like, I wouldn't say he was speechless.
no,
but
that guy's
it was
never
like,
speechless.
no, he's not. But it was like, wow. So good for him, though. Record breaker, 90 years old.
Yep.
You know,
He beat
90-year-old.
I think the oldest male at least before him was John Glenn, if I remember right.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I thought he beat that by. I thought John Glenn was only in his early 80s or late 70s. I thought he was 78 when he went
Yeah.
up. I could be wrong on that, but I mean, he blew away all the records, and it's got to be for playing somebody in space for 55 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to actually do it has got to be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has to be. I mean, what, Star Trek itself was only on for like, what, 5 or 6 seasons?
3.
3. Okay, so
Three.
3 seasons. And
Come on,
but
get with it,
out
Eric.
of
What's
those-
wrong with you?
Yeah. But out of those 3 seasons, how many spin-offs and how many movies
Oh, yeah.
and everything else, just off of something that was 3 seasons
Yeah.
long,
Yeah.
you know, and he's basically, you know, he's forever, you know, he can't be anyone else. He couldn't be anyone else. Even when he did T.J. Hooker,
Yeah.
he was always Captain
He's
Kirk.
always Captain Kirk, man. Although,
You know,
although I think he kind of got rid of that with Boston Legal. He was really good in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't too bad. So,
Yeah. He
It
did
was
overcome
pretty-
the typecast thing.
yeah, he did. But, you know, it's still amazing. It's still amazing. So good for him.
Yeah, it's
I would
awesome.
love to. I would love to see Tyson go up if he ever has a chance. Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that would be
I was
cool.
thinking Mike.
That would be.
That's the first person
no.
I thought of. He's like
Tyson.
gonna get up there and go,
Tyson-
I'm gonna eat
Tyson
your
Fury,
children,
Mike.
aliens.
Tyson Fury or Iron Mike? No, I'm talking about Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I really thought you were talking about Tyson. I was
I
like,
talking
oh,
about Tyson
yeah,
Chicken.
that'd be cool.
It wasn't Tyson Chicken I was talking about. But
Tyson food.
Oh, goodness gracious.
But yeah,
but no.
Well,
it's,
hello to everybody.
It's
We
awesome.
got Beatrice is on. She's saying hi
hi
to us.
Beatrice. Oh, we got a
Hey,
lot of people
Beatrice.
on.
Hey.
Gary and we got it's the house is filling up.
Yeah,
It
John
is.
Glenn.
It is.
So and it's funny because, you know, I was looking at it before. I was because this Star Trek came out before anybody landed on the moon. So I mean, this
Yeah, it
is
did.
you know 1963 years before anybody
Yep.
landed on the moon. And you know, the only thing that happened between then, I think a monkey and Yuri Gagarin were the only guys who were in space. You know, so
Right.
you know, but I mean, you know, other than that, I mean, it's got to be very profound. And I just want to take
Yeah.
tops off to Captain Kirk.
Yeah,
You made it back.
congratulations.
You know, you
Yeah.
made it back, and good for you. Good for you. You made it. You're alive, and you didn't blow up. Because I definitely want to see before you die. I definitely want to see one cameo in anything, anywhere of Captain Kirk, anywhere. That's all I want to see. That before you die.
Right.
That's all I want
Right.
to say. But
Well, okay.
so yeah,
Um,
so I had man, I had a huge brain fart. So you know, you guys know, Tyler was nice enough to lend me the Canon R, the RA and the 6R.
RA.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting there and
There's
do
Jim.
me, what's that? Jim's
I said,
Astro
"There's
A.
Jim."
Hey
Sorry,
Jim,
I'm just
that's okay.
calling them out when they show
Yep.
up.
Eddie.
Yep.
Eddie also said ugly hat. Um,
Yep.
Eddie, you really want to see why I'm wearing this hat, Eddie? Do you really want to see?
It's the start of the season, man.
I mean, my
Yeah.
hair is just a disaster. So
Oh
that's
yeah,
why the
please
hat's
put
on.
that. Please put that on. Good
Yeah, it's
Lord,
going
please
back.
put that back on.
So next week I'll be able to get a haircut. Halloween will be over, and I'll be able to put on my makeup and all my stuff, and then get a haircut. But yeah, so I had a huge brain fart with this thing because I guess I was a little. So Tyler called me up and said, "Listen, I got a buyer for the RA, and can you do me a favor, take some pictures?" Yeah, sure. Take a picture of the sensor, the camera, put the battery in, put a lens on it, and, show that the screen works and all that kind of stuff. So I'm starting to put everything back together, like take it
Right.
apart and put it back in the case.
Right.
I can't get this stupid body cap on. I, I'm like, what the hell? What is this? And I'm
Did
sitting
you
there.
take the T, did you take the T ring off, man?
Yes, there was no T ring. It wasn't set up for astrophotography. However,
Okay.
however,
Okay.
2 different caps.
what?
Yeah.
No,
Two different
the
caps.
cap was on there. The cap was on there. I only have one cap off. That's it.
Okay.
Well, there's
So-
a body cap and there's a lens cap.
No,
And the front and rear lens cap.
they look very different. Come on, I'm not that stupid.
I was gonna say, boy,
I'm not
that's
the
gonna be
same.
classic.
The body cap I can't take a shot out of. The lens cap I can. So whatever the case may be, I'm sitting there and I'm putting it up together. 20 minutes. So I called Tyler. I said, Tyler, I'm not this stupid. What's going on? Me and Tyler were like on FaceTime. I'm like, dude, it doesn't go on. It doesn't. What's going on? Turns out that he had an EF adapter on the camera, and I took it off with the lens, and I was putting it right on the body, and it was an EFS cap
If it
trying
was
to put
an
an
E
EF
cap.
lens. So yeah, I guess
Gotcha.
I am that stupid because that's my brain fart for the day. So that's that.
Nah.
Michael Collins, yeah, that would have been nice. That would have been nice. But yeah. So that was my brain fart to today. But so I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I switched. I originally was doing side by side with the 2-scope setup, and after talking to many people, decided to stack them instead of going side by side. Some balancing, some issues, stuff, flexure, that kind of stuff. Decided to go against and going stacked like I had it back in April.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that was my envision to begin with, so it's just happy it turned out that way. However, I'm having an issue, and I'm going to throw this out to the group. If anybody has done side by side, I mean, not side by side, but a dual scope stacked, let me know, because I have the main scope, which is a 952 millimeter FCD 100 127 from Explore Scientific. That's on the bottom. On top of that is the Esprit 80 at 400 millimeters. Okay, none of them are using reducers, so I'm not bringing down. I'm not bringing down a 952 to anything. It's all native. However, I took some pictures and I just did 3 pictures just to test it to see. First night out with the new telescope setup, the new mount, everything. It actually went very well, and everything, the software worked perfectly. However, when I checked the pictures in the morning, the plate solved image of the 952 was dead smack in center. However, in the 80, which has a wider field of view,
Mm-hmm.
the Wizard Nebula was all the way on the right, almost cut off by the right side of the screen.
Are you using rings?
Yeah,
Were you using rings?
yeah.
Um,
But they're not.
on the 80, but were
They're
they aligned?
clamshell. They're clamshell.
Okay,
They're
okay,
not.
okay.
They're not the twisty
It's not the
things.
twisty. Okay,
Yeah. So
okay. So
it's not like the telescope is
it's
like.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't get it. Even it's half the focal length, more than half the focal length of the other scope, and the object is way off to the side. Now I
Hmm.
looked at. I'm gonna have to look and see to see if even if the telescope is shifted a half a centimeter either way,
Hmm.
that focal length it should be that far off.
No. But
So
you would
I'm at a
also
loss.
think, you would also think that, your target would also be centered as well on the 80 as just as it is on the
On the
127.
127, smack dead in the
Right.
middle on the 127.
Were they
That's
taking pictures at the same time?
Yep, about 30 seconds, maybe 10. One was taking a
That's not enough to be that far out.
no. One was
yeah.
taking a 1 minute shot, and the other one was taking a 5 minute shot. So I was just doing color data with the 1 minutes and the my
Mm.
luminance with the 5 minute.
I'm curious to see what if you would have did opposite polar, did your plate solving with the 80, got the 80 centered, what would the 127 end up
Well, I would
being
think if
in the other way,
if
if you
that's the
did it the
case,
other
I
way
probably
around.
wouldn't even see it in the 127 because I'm at a narrower field of view. I would think if I shift the 80 over,
I'm just
it's
saying, say if you, yeah, I'm just saying if you had it on this, trying to line it, say to a particular, like maybe not the object, but maybe a particular star, and target both of them on that same star, even though they're different focal lengths, I would think you would be aligned, but who
yeah.
knows?
I mean,
Who knows, man?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to play around with it and see.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was the weirdest thing because the Wizard Nebula is illuminated by a cluster in the center of the
Frank
nebula.
Frank has a good point
I saw
here.
that.
Could
Yeah.
the camera be could the camera be tilted itself?
I don't know. I'm gonna try with the rotator, and maybe the
Hmm.
rotation had something to do with it.
Hmm.
I'm not sure. That's a good point. I may try. I don't think it's not tilt. It's not tilt. My tilt is perfect on that camera. I mean, that's been perfect for a long time. Never had a problem with it. But it could be the rotation. Now that I'm thinking about it.
It could be. Um,
The top scope is mounted literally. It's clamshell rings. Um, Never had an issue before with it. Um, I have a moonlight focuser that could hold the weight of the 294 with ease. Um, I don't know. I'm gonna have to do a couple of trial and error things
Mm.
with
right.
the setup. And it's gonna take me a little while to get there, but once I get there, it'll be set. But if anybody has any ideas, anybody has anything, if you want to yell at me and say why didn't I go side by side, that's fine too. But I wonder if side by side would make it. I don't think it would make a difference, but something's not right.
Yeah, something's not right. Who knows? F- Um, yeah. Give it, yeah. Try a couple other things, but I will say this: at least you had the opportunity to do some imaging.
Yep.
I haven't had the opportunity to do any imaging
Oh
for the
no.
past 2 weeks, with the weather, with the, of course, with the change in weather, and everything like that. It's been rain constant, can't, and tomorrow it looks like I'll finally have a chance to do some imaging. However, the moon itself, I believe, is going to be maybe 70%, if maybe 65 to 70% illuminated.
Yeah.
So, which
Yep.
kind of stinks because I've been trying to get my Dark Nebula shots,
Yeah.
and I
Next
can't
cycle,
do it
bro.
at that. I'm going to
Yep.
have to wait until the next cycle.
Yep.
So I'm going to have to find something else. Maybe if I have an opportunity, maybe I'll spend some time. Maybe I'll do the Pallades. I mean, it's bright enough anyway.
Try. Have
You
you done the
know,
Pac-Man yet? Try the Pac-Man.
I have done Pac-Man.
Okay.
I have done Pac-Man, but the big thing is that I want to get out there. I'm going to do one-shot color, but I want to get out there and use this guy finally, the
The
NBZ.
MBZ.
Yeah, I want to
Why
get
don't you
out
try some of
and
the
actually use it.
Sharpless catalog?
I could. I
Yeah.
could. I might even consider going back to because I was not pleased with my with it, the last time I did it, go back to the Lion Nebula,
Okay.
which is the sharpless.
Yeah.
And it's one of those, it's faint. It's a faint nebula, and but it's I don't know. It's one that's somewhat new to a lot of people. A lot of people have imaged the lion yet, and I would
Yeah,
like to take
it's
another crack at it again.
definitely one of those lesser known.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's not one of the top 100 to say the least, but I mean, it's definitely a really cool image. It really is cool.
Yeah, it is.
Um,
I've seen some really nice images of it.
Greg from Phoenix, how you doing? What's going on?
Hey,
I know
Greg.
Greg. Greg, how's it going? Imaging the Pac-Man when I get off duty in the yeah. Well, be safe, Greg.
Yeah.
Don't take any unnecessary chances, especially these days. So, um, I want to try the Ghost. I guess that's the Ghost of Jupiter or Ghost of Cassiopeia. There's two of them that I know of. I'm sure there's more, but
Yeah, Cassiopeia is the ghost. The ghost in Cassiopeia. That's one of my. I like that one. I like
yeah,
going after it. It's one of my favorites, and it's also somewhat of a faint nebula as well. But
yeah,
you can get
yep,
you can pull it out, especially with a good hydrogen,
sure.
filter. You can pull it out really nicely.
Yeah, so did you see Optolong? I don't know if you saw. I think we mentioned it last week. Optolong is coming out with the 3 nanometer, 2-inch
They
filters.
are going to.
Yep,
So
no,
they are going to.
it's in test phase right now. Ron Breacher from Masters of PixInsight just
Yep.
got a set. He's testing them.
Okay, nice.
So very soon he put it on Facebook. So I guess it's common knowledge now. So
Good.
so I'm interested to see the price tag. Because they've always been cheaper than most of the other ones. Now, I would love to try it, or maybe I'll. Oh, no, maybe not. I was gonna say maybe I'll send Ron my and Leah's, and
And
you can
Leah's.
do both of them. But
Yeah, but see, the thing is that it'd be a big question is with the 3 nanometer. The one thing that they had with the Aunt Leah had with the previous, the 3.5s, was the star blow, especially on the oxygen.
yeah, it still has, as Tarek, I believe, really pointed out, the O3 still has some bloat. It still has some bloat. The Hydrogen Alpha, they seem to have tamed quite a bit.
Right.
But the O3, for whatever reason,
Even with the 3 nanometer.
yeah, he's right. He's
Okay.
right. There is some bloat in really super bright stars. Like on attack is still going to have an issue, but I think you can combat it. Not a lot of people do O3 with the Horsehead.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's not a lot
Right.
there for that.
Right.
But with the, next time it's coming around soon. I'm gonna try it with the 3 nanometer because I have the 7 nanometer done with just black and white H alpha because I think it looks cool.
Okay.
But that's it. That's the one that made the what was it? The Jar Jar Binks, the Jar Horse head. Remember that? You never saw that?
Yeah.
I gotta show
No,
that
I
to you.
haven't. Okay. But yeah, that may be another target maybe early in the morning that I would go after is Orion, maybe something, go after the horse head with the NBZ, because it's supposed to also somewhat tame, Allen attack.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But who knows? But I'm definitely going to get on Telescopius and start making some decisions on planning.
Oh yeah, it's winter time. Winter's coming.
It is. It
Winter's
is. It
coming.
is.
We're only in
Hey,
the
Sean's
fall.
on.
Yeah, I saw.
Sean's on.
Yep, Shawnee boy over Visible Dark. There you go.
Yeah.
Hey Jim, Beatrice, Sean, dual band filter will be amazing.
Yeah, the NB. Yeah, if you grab the NBZ, grab that one. Tarek, instead of and try this one out versus the L Extreme or the L Enhance, because I've heard really good things about the NBZ. So this is my first ever IDAS filter.
Yeah, I've never had one actually.
All my other ones have always been like the majority of all my filters have been Optolong, because they've been so reasonably priced, and
Absolutely.
for the most part they're pretty effective, which makes me very curious about these new 3 nanometers that are coming out.
Yep.
Because I only have the one Aunt Leah 3 nanometer. I have an HA. So I would be very curious to see how Ron's, Ron's
results. Yep.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm looking for something on my drive, but I can't seem to find it.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah.
So one other thing, I've been getting some, on my own channel, I'm still getting a lot of comments, and I appreciate, especially on some of the videos I've been doing. Probably the more popular video that I've had has been the polar alignment with ASI Air with Celestron mounts, and it seems that it's still somewhat of a problem.
Yeah.
Even with the Plus with doing polar alignment with Celestron mounts. It amazes me. I mean, it's for me right now. I don't have I don't have my CGX anymore. I do have the AVX, and eventually I'll be moving away from that. But I was able to do a polar alignment. The problem was it was my Meridian Flip. The Meridian Flip didn't run. When I showed you guys that video last week, but it seems like the Celestron mounts and the ASI Airs, even all of them, they just don't get along, and it's been a problem for a lot of folks. So for the most part, people are still doing the manual, polar alignment with the ASI Air, where they'll actually shut off the mount. Okay, they'll disconnect the mount they won't shut off the mount, but they'll disconnect it from the ASI Air. They'll just turn it off on the ASI Air app, and they'll do the polar alignment manually by doing the manual tilt themselves to the 60 degree, and saying, okay, then let's go, and then they'll do their RA and their azimuth and their alt adjustments, and then when they get it polar aligned manually, then they'll move it back to the home position and reconnect the mount back to the ASI Air, and then they move on. Because now they say they're polar aligned and they move on, but it's nothing that what you should expect. The ASI Air to do. It should all be pretty much automatic, where you are still doing the adjustments of the alt and the as,
right.
But it should be doing it should tilt. It should tilt to the 60 degrees. It should be able to do all these things, but it's not. And I know it's been frustrating for a lot of people.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Hopefully.
Absolutely.
Just one of those things.
It is one of those things, and it's unfortunate that that's been going on for a while. It's something that hasn't been really fixed. Some workarounds, like using another mount.
I mean, Frank says that he's had success with his CGX and the Pro, so maybe he's one of the few. that have been lucky enough. I personally, I've got my CEM60, so I really don't do it much. But
Right.
to another point, I have my Pole Master, so I still have my Pole Master. I'm probably never going to get rid of it. And I'll use that, I can do that for polar alignment, and it's a solid piece of equipment. It's never failed me.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you know what I saw? We were talking about this. We were talking about the atmospheric dispersion corrector last week,
yeah,
with planetary,
yeah.
and I saw that. I could be wrong, but with SharpCap, they have a nice, like a helper on how to use the ADC and
Oh,
how to
nice.
align the prisms. Remember, like we were talking about it, we were hoping that
Yeah.
somebody had something. They do. So if it's red on the bottom, it's overcorrected. If it's blue on the top, it's undercorrected. So
Okay.
it gives you a nice little thing that kind of like when you're doing the, now we could use it for two things. We could use it for polar alignment and ADC correction. But
There you
it is a lot more powerful than that, and a lot of people use it for acquisition as well. But that's coming. If it's not out now, I believe it's out now. But I saw images of it on Facebook, I believe,
go.
and it looks pretty cool. So I was
Okay.
hoping to use that tonight, but I forgot. Number one, it was cloudy. Number two, we have a show, so I couldn't do
Right.
that tonight. Yeah, I don't have QHY cams. The air only works with CWO.
Right.
Yeah, that's Sean talking there.
Yeah, that is. At some point, there may be a point where I may, and I was thinking about this over the week,
Right.
that, it's going to start, of course, Sean knows how it is because he's in Canada and
Yep.
you're in New York.
Yep.
Eventually it's going to start getting colder. And I'm
Oh,
going to
yeah.
I'm going to get to the point where I'm not going to want to be outside, which is one of the reasons why I love having the ASIR.
Yeah.
But however, it's going to come to the point where I might even start taking a look at Nina, but purchasing a really long active USB 3 cable and running it from the outside into my
Dude,
basement.
just get an eagle, man. Why would you do that to
whatever.
yourself?
Because
Yeah.
an eagle's like how much? An eagle's like a $1,000 or
Entry,
something like
entry
that.
level's $845. I mean,
I'll
God.
spend the $60 on a really long USB
A
3
repeating
cable.
USB cable.
and just run it from the mount right into my
Oh my
basement.
God! Yeah, that's long cable, my friend.
right into my desktop, and just run everything from my desktop.
Fridge way.
That would be funny.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah. So what you could also do, and see, this is what I used to do, is I would leave my laptop outside,
Yeah.
and then I would just run it to the laptop on a table, set the laptop onto my wireless network, and connect through remote desktop,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, and that's it. And that's another thing. Of course, I can do that. I can just
Yeah, your wireless
go out
network's
there.
fine.
I'm wireless.
Yeah.
My wireless is fine. I could always use like a VNC viewer or something like that and just run everything from there.
Yeah, you don't even
It's
need
not big
VNC
enough.
viewer. You could just do it. Well, if you don't have Windows 10 Pro, yeah, you'll need VNC. But
Yeah.
But or Chrome Remote Desktop, like Steve is suggesting, you could use that as well. The thing with
That's true.
Chrome Remote Desktop, and I've tried that as well as Team Viewer and everything, is that the latency on it is very laggy when you're doing stuff that's like photography. If you're just going and doing an Excel spreadsheet, it's nice and it's cool. But if you're doing photography where it's running and running and running and the pictures, it doesn't work as well. The refresh rate is not great. So
Yeah. Just FYI, Greg, that's how I have my ASIR set up right now. Is that I actually do run an
The
outdoor
Cat 5.
rated Ethernet cable. Yeah, Cat 5 cable. And I run that to the ASIR right into my router into my basement. So I basically run everything just right here. So
God bless
I
you.
don't really deal much with wireless when I'm in the house and at home here. Eventually, I'm going to at some point I'm going to actually dig, and run a PVC pipe, into the ground, through the ground and trench it and run my, Ethernet cable
Yeah. Yep.
through the PVC, to get it off the ground itself. Because last year I was running it and it ended up actually getting frozen into the grass.
So Senthil said, Chrome is horrible always, but Steve never had a problem. So, you're always going to have, everyone's setup is not the same. Everyone doesn't have a power desktop. Everybody doesn't have a power laptop. Depending on what you're using, you may not have any issues with either TeamViewer, Chrome Remote, any desk, go-to, whatever remote desktop connection you could think of using. It all depends on your system. It really does, and your internet connection. Everybody doesn't have gigabit connections. Some people don't live in the area that can get it. It's very, very important to make sure you have the proper wireless network in order to benefit from these things. It's really tough. So again, some people like Pepsi, some people like Coke. It's always going to kind of work one way or the other. But
yeah, exactly. So don't mind me, guys. It's just just me probably talking out of the side of my head. But like I said, right now, running an Ethernet cable is the way I go right now, and I can do everything else. So I'm all good.
Yeah, when we moved to North Carolina and put the observatory up, then I'll hardwire everything. It'll all be hardwired.
Yeah, I'll be hardwired. Yeah.
Yep.
Eventually, I'll get there too.
Yep.
To put everything out there, and I'll be hardwired. But and I'll continue to be hardwired because it works. It's guaranteed. For me, it's a no-brainer. It's almost guaranteed. It's gonna work.
Until something gets into your conduit and needs your wire.
Yeah, that's true.
Not for nothing, but I never had a single issue with my wireless access point. It just had crazy good signal.
Yep.
For a long way, and it was fast. It was reliable. It never dropped on me.
Yeah, I've never had a problem either. I've had the Ingenious we spoke about last week.
Yep.
The 620 out there, and it's got 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, 2 antennas for each.
Yeah.
And I get wireless network from the 2 next door neighbors over.
Yeah.
Across the street. So, and I can still see and access my wireless network from there. So, but it really depends on the incoming signal that you're getting that you can push that signal out. So,
okay, Tarek has a question. So let me ask this: which filter to use with a color camera for broadband, not narrowband? It depends, but yeah, Syntho, you're right. L Pro is one. It also depends on, or you could also use a simple IR cut filter.
Yep.
You could use a Moon Sky Glow, the Beta Moon Sky Glow.
That's what I use.
That's a great broadband filter. So those three will be the three that I would pick.
Just fly commando. Don't use any filter.
Or depending on how well, it depends on your your light pollution.
Pollution.
To go that route.
If you're Bortle 3 or under, then I would tell you you probably don't need one.
Yeah, but Tarek, him being in UAE, he's dealing with what Bortle 8, 9, just like
he's
you
the
are.
Same as me. Yep.
So I would say go with an L Pro, something like that.
Yep, either an L Pro or the Beta Moon Sky Glow. They're both really good. Somebody said the IDAS D2, which I've heard is very good as well.
It's very good as well.
They're all good broadband filters, and what they do, for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, is that when you're dealing in light polluted skies, it's gonna degrade your image because the sky is that less darker. You got too much light pollution. It's very, very gray. It's like an off gray, and it dims everything out. It lowers the contrast of your image. Imagine seeing like a light smoke in a bright room.
It's like fog.
Yeah, you can barely see it. That's what we're looking at when we're looking at nebulosity, and so we're looking through this little bit of smoke in a lit room, which you're not going to see. And so you need something to knock out certain things. Now there's something to be said if you have LED lighting in your town, this is not going to work as well because what these light pollution filters do is they take out the sodium and mercury vapor lines from the spectrum and blocks them out to increase the contrast of the background, and then you're able to see your deep sky objects a little bit better, and image a lot better. So it's really important to understand how that kind of works. LED lights do not emit mercury and sodium vapors. So LED lights, you're in tough luck right now.
Yeah.
So.
Especially if you're around any kind of stadium, high school stadium or pro stadium.
Yep.
Yeah, those lights are horrid.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're great for the game.
Oh yeah.
They suck when
Yep.
you're trying to image.
God forbid they do full cutoff lights.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what they need to do. It needs to be pointed down.
Yeah.
One thing that is that I was kind of curious about,
Sure.
and looking at, like with Quiv and others who are in urban areas, and even thinking about myself when I was growing up in Chicago, living in apartment buildings and stuff like
Sure.
that. I can only imagine sometimes the difficulty and sometimes the frustration of if you are an imager, to image, if some of, especially if you're living in these really urban areas where you have tall, skyscrapers and whatever else, you're only able to get a target for a set period of time.
Yep.
Because of how because of where you live, your apartment or whatever, and the objects that could be blocking or what have you. Can you imagine that? It's just, it would be frustrating. And that's one of the things that is also that I will plug that may be awesome for people who live in urban areas to consider a RASA or like the RASA 8, because you can gather a lot of data, in my opinion, in a shorter amount of time, versus using your F4, F5 refractors, like when I had my William Optics 71 and stuff like that. So you having these higher F2 scopes, you can get a lot of data really quick.
Absolutely.
So it's just something that was just popped in my head.
Just bribe the super of your building there to let you use the roof.
Yeah, if you are in that situation, and if you know the super, become really good friends with them.
Yeah, I gotta hit
I want to set a scope up on
something.
the roof.
I gotta hit something for Sento real quick. I think, and if I'm reading the comments wrong, excuse me, Sento, but I think you're mixing two things. You're mixing the L Pro and the L Extreme. And they're two completely different usages. They're not the same thing. L Pro is, for all intents and purposes, a light pollution filter.
Yep.
Okay. It's gonna get rid of the things that we just said, and it's gonna help you with your broadband imaging, your RGB one-shot color imaging, by contrasting the background, minusing out those vapor lights, and then that's that. The L Extreme is a narrow band filter made for one-shot color cameras.
Yeah.
Okay, so the L Extreme, what it does is it knocks out everything. It knocks out everything you want, except for, correct me if I'm wrong, H alpha and O3. Right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So H alpha and O3.
Yeah.
And so you got to remember that this is a narrow band filter. It's only taking a picture of those two emission lines. Yeah. Whereas the L Pro knocks out a couple of emission lines to help you get a darker background. I hope I explained that right.
Yeah, you got it. It's the same thing with like the triad, the
Yep.
quad band
Yeah.
filter.
Another narrow
They're all
band.
narrow band.
They're all
They're
narrow
all
band.
color narrow band filters.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, so that's. I hope I wasn't overstepping there, Senthil. I thought you were comparing the two of them, and they're just. I just wanted to make sure that the people out there that don't know what we're talking about understand that they're really two completely different types of usages for those filters. But
Greg is
Yeah,
having.
there was also.
Did you see Greg have a question here?
Yeah,
um,
I was just going to say that. If you back up in the chat,
did I miss
Greg
something?
was asking. Yeah, he was asking
Yeah.
about. He said I needed some
See,
advice. I have a member in an astronomy club. I was a member with, wanting to trade his ES 140 ED carbon fiber triplet for my 127 ED FCD 100 and my ES Comet Hunter.
Wait, what? A 140 for a Comet Hunter and a 127? Is that what I'm hearing?
For the 127, yeah, and the FCD and 100 and my ES Comet Hunter.
Ooh.
Hmm.
I don't know. Explore Scientific Comet Hunter, and I like it. I like it a lot. And I have the 127 FCD 100 carbon fiber. Uh, I don't know if yours is carbon fiber as well, but just also remember, I don't know what mount you're using, Gary. Remember the weight on that 140. I'm not sure what it is off the top of my head,
Well, it is
but
carbon fiber, so it's not going to be a lot.
well, the 127 is 18 pounds. So
Yeah.
I could only imagine the 140 has got to be like 123.
yeah, because
I
I
was going to
remember
say
the
something like that.
152. The 152 when I had it was carbon fiber. I think it was around 25, maybe
Yeah.
30.
So it's somewhere in the middle. So maybe 23 to 25. So
Yeah.
just remember, I don't know what mount you're using, but just keep that in mind. If you have like a 75 pound mount, then whatever. But I think that's really that's something you got to decide yourself. I mean, I don't know if I would trade in two scopes for one, depending on. I don't know if I'd do it because you know what, you're getting two different, way different fields of view. The Comet Hunt is cool because it's such a small field of view. It's
Hmm.
really really cool, and the
Could almost
127.
use it as a guide scope.
Yeah, yeah, you could. And the 127 is sub 1,000 millimeter focal length,
Yeah.
just
Yep.
barely. And the 140, if you need to go bigger, knock yourself out. But I mean, I don't know, that 2-for-1 thing. If it's FCD 100 to FCD 100 and carbon fiber to carbon fiber, I'd say no way. 13 millimeters is not going to make. No, I wouldn't do it. That's just me, though.
Not that much of a difference.
Now, no, and the question I was talking about also was from Greg Meyer. He was saying he has a question tracking Pac-Man. He has an EQ6R Pro. He did the Meridian flip, but then it can't plate solve. He sent it there again and still couldn't plate solve. But then he goes to the Triangulum
Yeah, I'm reading it now.
first, then he plate solves, then he goes to the Pac-Man and it plate solves just fine. Why?
This is with the ASI Air, or is this with?
Yeah, what are you using? Is this with
Could have been
ASI
a high
Air?
cloud.
Or is it with something else? Are you using Nina? What are you doing? What are you using for plate solving? So
Yeah,
he
could have been.
doesn't
It could have been a high cloud.
Okay.
Yeah,
Out
they could have thrown him out. I mean,
731,
that'll screw up your plate solve real quick. And sometimes you can't see those high clouds. But your
He
scope,
says
it'll screw up your
he
scope.
says he says he's using Sequence Generator Pro and he has clear skies.
What are you using for the plate solve
Plate solving
program?
Yeah.
is it? Yeah.
We'll find out the answer to that question. So I you know what? Maybe I'm thinking of a different Comet Hunter because
Yeah.
Gary
A lot
said
bigger than I thought.
731. That's a lot bigger than what I thought.
Yeah.
The F140 is FPL 53. Yeah, I still don't know if I'd do it.
Yeah.
I still don't know if I'd do it.
He
I'd
said
have to think long and hard.
Greg's saying he's got PlateSolve 2 loaded
That's what I
into
use.
SGP.
That's what I use. So I'm gonna, Greg, I'm gonna say something stupid because I know you're an advanced user, but you do have both catalogs installed for. You have APM and the other one. Forget what the other one is, but it's the APM and the other one.
Yeah.
Carbon fiber. Wow. Guy, I think you're trying to make us tell you that you just do it. That's what
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell you to do that, guy. I'm not gonna do
Yeah.
it. I mean, with two of those telescopes, you got to remember that from what I remember of Comet Hunters is that the the reason why they're there is they're usually a lower focal ratio, so you're able to pick up those dim comets.
Hmm.
Um, the again, they're two different usages of scopes. They're two different, and now you're gonna get one refractor, and you're gonna lose the fast
Yeah.
Comet Hunter. But
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So Gary just said it's a Comet Hunter is a Macnute f4.8. So
Yeah, I'm not
everyone's
sure.
saying don't do it. Even
Don't
Jim
do
said
it.
don't do it. Don't do it. Don't
Do it.
do it. Yeah, but me personally, I wouldn't do it. I'd keep my 127 and be happy, and I
The
keep
grass
the
isn't
Comet Hunter.
always greener.
Nope, I like my scopes, but yeah. So what else is going on? So I'm still doing the Wizard Nebula. I'm
Yeah.
trying to get some color data for that. I'll be getting some color
What camera are
data.
you using? Are you using the QHY?
For the color, I got the 294.
Okay.
So I got the 294, and I'm gonna give this a shot, but I gotta do this quick because the Wizard's slowly going away from me, and
Hmm.
behind the trees, and it's not going away. It's pretty much circumpolar if I remember right, but I think
Yeah.
it's in Cepheus if I remember
It is in
right. Yeah.
Cepheus.
So it's circumpolar, but it's gonna get lower in the wintertime,
Yeah.
and so if I have to, just for this one, put the 80 by itself, and just let it
Hmm.
run and plate solve with that, just to get the color data for an hour. Then that's what I'll do for now, and then I'll progress with another object.
Jim-
I see Scott
Jim's
laughing.
throwing
So
us under the bus.
oh
Yeah,
no, what?
Jim's throwing us under the bus. He's like, get the old ugly guys on and bring on the blonde.
Okay.
When
So
is
you want
Amy
me to?
coming on?
Okay, so you want me to talk about upcoming guests, I guess. Okay, fine. Upcoming guests. So, in 1 month and 4 days, on November 17th, we will have Warren Keller from Masters of Pixel Insight. He's going to be coming and hanging out with us. Um, on the following month, December 17th, you will get your wish. Amy Astro will be on with us, hanging out with us. And I'm stoked. I'm so excited about that because I've been watching her since she started, and I
Yeah.
love what she does. So, and she lives semi close to where she lives in Georgia. So,
Yeah.
um,
She's going to be
so
closer to me than closer to you.
well, I used to live in Georgia,
I
so I
thought you
used
were
to live in
saying New
Georgia.
York.
I had a small stint for 2 years in a suburb of Savannah called Pooler,
Oh,
Georgia.
Savannah, Georgia is so beautiful.
It is. And I gotta tell you, and just side note, Savannah, I've seen St. Patty's Day in about 7 or 8 United States cities, major cities.
Yeah.
And there is nothing that beats Savannah for St. Patty's Day. Nothing.
Really?
The New York, no, there's nothing. First of all,
Yeah.
let's just talk about weather. Forget about everything
Yeah.
else. It's like 60 to 70 degrees in the middle of March. Beautiful weather. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
River Street, and I don't know if you've been to Savannah, but River Street, it's no cars are allowed. One side of the street is the Savannah River, and you just walk up. On the other side of the street, it's just bars. It's like Bell Boulevard in Brooklyn. It's just a strip of bars that goes the entire street.
Yeah, it's like Bourbon Street in New Orleans.
Almost exactly. Well, the only thing
Yeah.
that is awesome is during St. Patty's Day, they dye the Savannah River green. The whole thing is green. And
They
it's
do the
just,
same thing here in Chicago.
well,
They do that
New
in
York,
Chicago River.
they don't do it in New York because we got the smelly sewer, whatever, that parade. And it's also 12 degrees. So, I mean,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I did that once. I promised I'd never, ever do it again.
Yeah.
But anyway.
No, but yeah, she said, I did see. I haven't seen her video yet, but she did she did a DIY flat panel.
Yep.
Yeah, I watched
So I gotta
that
go check
video
it out.
today. It was pretty cool how
It
she
was
did
pretty
that.
cool. Yeah. She's very intuitive. She
Yeah,
figures out
actually,
ways
she-
to do
she-
things.
Yeah, she gives credit where credit is due. She didn't come up with the idea herself. One of her viewers sent her the specs on it and gave her the heads up as to where to get the kit.
Yep.
Okay.
And it had the flexible light panel, in there, and it had the opaque glass, and and she goes through the whole thing. It's actually quite ingenious if you've got a small scope or just a refractor. Yeah, it makes for a pretty good light panel for less than $70. Not bad at all.
There you go.
Yeah, it's not
bad.
a bad thing. Definitely check it out. I think it's her newest video. Go on her channel, check it out.
Yep.
It's really, really good.
Yeah, I've got to go check it out. Just take a look.
Yeah. Well, I'm still gonna go get a Spica flat eventually, but that's.
Yeah.
See, I am
I've
not
got
good
that.
with all that stuff, making stuff. I don't do well with it.
You know what? Watching her do this, Dan, you could do it.
I would so find a way to F it up. It would just be a mess. It would be a mess. It'd be. I swear, I get the wrong color LEDs. I couldn't get the body cap on a camera today, and you want me to make a light panel, but yeah. So she's going to be coming on December 17th, and then hopefully in January, if all the planets align and all the stars are in conjunction or whatever we want to talk about, we will have the Prima Luce trio of Filippo, Tom, and Omar will be on, maybe, if very outside chance, of a live show. A live show with them.
Now
So
they're going to
you'll
have to be up late to do that.
Well, they are supposed to be in California for an event.
Well, that's different.
Oh,
In
well,
January.
then that'd be different.
So
That's
so-
different. They're only 3 hours behind then.
so that's that's going to be interesting. We may do a live show during the day or something that for us, during the day, meeting 5 o'clock Eastern, 2
Yeah.
o'clock Pacific, something like that. But very outside chance of that. It's probably going to be recorded, and I gotta thank Tom Bramwell over at Prima Luce USA for hooking this up. Looking like that there's gonna be a whole bunch of new stuff to talk about. They have the low profile focuser. They just came out with the price list for the Arco, among some other things that they're working on, which I am not at liberty to say. But
Right.
be on the lookout for any of that stuff, because they are just going to explode, and it's going to be awesome.
Yep. And if you're listening, I still want that plate for my C14. Nice long plate.
and that
24 inches.
that brings us, and I know he's watching, so I'm gonna Sean Nielsen. When are you coming back? When are you coming back
Right?
to Astroworld? You're always in
Yeah,
the
man,
chat.
come on.
Come on, man. Hook a brother up,
Jump
man.
in,
Come on.
You can always just hop on.
Yeah,
We can
really.
get you.
You can just come on anytime. You got the
Time.
number. You got the number. I can give you the number. Don't worry. I just won't give you my number. You can kick off anybody else. Don't worry.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll give you Tyler's. He's not there.
Tyler's never here.
Well,
He was Friday.
yeah, he was.
Okay.
He's getting back
Yeah.
into it. He is moving slowly with his back. He's been doing stuff
Yeah.
with the. He's been. I don't know how he's been making this peer with the back issues that he has. I don't.
I think he hired
He's not.
somebody.
He's watching, he's supervising. He's being a foreman.
Yeah.
Oh, he's being a
He's
foreman.
telling him, you do
Okay.
this, you do that. He's sitting there in his lounger.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me because he can't lift up anything over like.
No, he can't lift a
15
stiff
pounds.
Twinkie right now.
No.
That was a little weird, and I think I'm gonna lose that visual right now. But
I'm just going right past that, man.
Yeah,
I'm
that's-
just moving past.
that you just made us NC-17 instead of PG.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Just move on. This is a family show. Let's just move on.
This is a family show.
Hey, you
So-
were the two that went to minds when okay, I just referenced an old-fashioned Twinkie. That's all I did.
Oh, gosh. Here we go.
Tell him about the Twinkie.
No, I'm not
Tell
going
him about
there.
the Twinkie. Exactly right. It's a big
No,
Twinkie.
I'm all good.
All right, moving
It
on.
looks like Mark
Anyway,
just hopped on. It looks like Mark just hopped on.
Mark,
Yeah.
Mark is watching with the beer in hand. I'm watching with my Tang.
Hey, I meant to ask you, by the way, were you able to figure out that XISF to
Yes.
FITS?
Simon.
Good.
Yeah, Simon.
Simon, and it worked perfectly. Now, if you want to know something about, and Sean, feel free to
You should
chime
share
in on
this.
this.
You should share this with
Yeah,
everybody.
I'm going to. And Sean, chime in the chat box if you can regarding this. And what I'm going to be talking about is the Subframe Selector.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you that don't know I always knew about the Subframe Selector. And then I was watching videos, Sean's included, Amy's included, a couple other ones regarding how to use it. And I'm like, wow, when you got a ton of images, hundreds and hundreds of images, yeah, you can blink them, night by night and get rid of, the ones you don't want.
Mm-hmm.
But the Subframe Selector works pretty awesome. Now, if you sit there and you dump your files in the Subframe Selector, you could tell with an expression. It's a logical expression. So if you remember your 11th grade math, it has like less than or equal to, if not, those kind of expressions.
Mm-hmm.
You could say if the FWHM is less than, depending on your system, let's say 4. And the
Throw it out.
I'm going to screw up the eccentricity.
Eccentricity?
Sorry. Thank you.
The eccentricity.
The eccentricity is, now what the eccentricity is the roundness of the star.
Mm-hmm.
The FWHM is it, in all intents and purposes, a focus, but it's how big the star is.
Right.
The smaller the star, the tighter your focus. So you could say something like, so I set it up for an FWHM requirement and an eccentricity requirement. So best focus and best roundness.
Okay.
Okay. And I threw like 300 photos into that.
Yeah.
And it knocked out about 24% of my photos. And as I look at them, it comes up with a report and it says, well, this didn't meet the requirements. It has red X's on it or check marks that it did. So as I look at the red X's, I could see the difference of the stars from a green one to a red one. And I'm looking at it. And it takes a little bit of tweaking to get those, eccentricity or FWHN, or if you know that your focus and your tracking is good, you want to do signal to noise, you could do that as well. You could do a
Yep.
bunch of different types of of um, of what's the word I'm looking for? Criteria to you
Yeah.
know to knock out the ones you don't want. So, but here's the thing with Subframe Selector. Now, Subframe Selector really is made for the people that want to do everything manually. You want to do the Subframe Selector. You want to do, image integration on your own, image calibration on your own, all that kind of stuff, using each different process separately as opposed to using WBPP, which
Right.
does everything. Now, here's
Does
the
everything
thing.
for you.
What if you wanted to just use a subframe selector? Get rid of the garbage and just take the good stuff and dump it into WBPP and run the script.
Yeah.
You can't do it. Because what it does is it
Converts.
takes your fits or your TIFFs or whatever, and it converts it to an XISF, which is a PixInsight format. And WPPP does not read XI. Go figure that out. Why doesn't WPPP read its own file format? Whatever the case may be. I don't know why. I don't care why. I think it's ridiculous. However, I'm sitting there, I'm like finding. So I've thought about, doing it by number and Xing it out into Blink and, just getting. And then another member of AstroWorld chimed in, and Simon Lewis said, why don't you do, export the files and then do a batch file format changer, which is a script in PixInsight. So what I did was I did the subframe selector, got rid of the garbage, and then made it a fits again. And it really took, for like 300 files, about 20 seconds.
Yeah.
I said
That was me, by the way.
Oh, that was you?
That wasn't Simon.
Oh,
That was me.
Damn.
It was-
I am sorry, Scott. My bad. My bad.
Yeah, that was Scott.
I
It was
apologize.
Scott.
Scott speaks so little. But when he has something to say, it's like a nice little nugget like that. And I just thought it was Simon. I apologize, Scott. That's my fault.
So-
Scott,
so-
Simon,
so George-
New
Let it work,
Zealand,
yeah.
New York. I mean, it's but
New Zealand, New York, yeah.
I mean, if there's another way, let me know if you wanted to do that. But I haven't found another way. I used the resources that I had, and that works great. So that's what I'm going to do from now on, because I got my settings dialed in for eccentricity and FWHM, and I don't care. I don't look at it anymore. I just get rid of the red X's, move them, and just move on. I would rather have better starting raw frames than having to do stuff like morphological transformation later on, and kind of, even when you do that, you get to a certain point where you smush the stars and it looks
And
horrible.
it just looks muddy.
Yeah, it looks horrible. But you
Yeah.
can use it to a
That's-
certain
it-
point and it'd be fine. But
Yeah, that's
But
one of the
to
problems that we have in
George's-
processing.
Yeah.
Is that things get muddied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's I tell the guys that I work with, the teaching them, for photography. I say you want to make sure that most of what you get is in camera. You don't want to have to correct problems that you can overcome just by getting it in camera.
right.
Get
Exactly.
it in
Same
camera
thing.
first.
Same exact thing. And
Exactly the same principle.
George asked a question about using Blink after doing subframe selector, and that's where I was going after kind of futzing around with it until I found that kind of changeover. Well, but Scott found the changeover for me on how to batch remake them fits files again.
Right.
So I was gonna load all the files into Blank, and I was gonna add them up. All right, delete 1 through 5. Okay, move those. Move 7. Move 9. Move 27. All that kind of stuff. And it was just, I'm like, this is ridiculous. And then
Yeah.
and I didn't know that this, it's a script. It's not a process. It's a batch file conversion.
Batch format conversion.
Batch
Yeah,
format
yeah,
conversion.
yeah. Batch format
And you
conversion.
just literally, once you're done with Subframe Selector and you output the good files to a output directory that you want it to be saved to. And then what you do is you take all those files in that output directory, dump them into the script, hit run, and now they're fits again, fits again, and now you could dump them back in to WBPP, turn off subframe weighting, pick your own reference image, and then let it run.
Yeah,
So,
and I
so
think
to
you
answer
have
George's
to.
question, you don't have to run Blink anymore.
No.
You won't have to use Blink.
Well, if you're
if you
happy
want.
with the results with Subframe Selector,
Yeah.
that's fine. But you just got to remember that there is no expression that fits every image train. You got to tweak it. You got to play with it.
Right.
Like I have two SFS routines. One for the 127 and one for the 80 because it's two different settings. It's two
Right.
different cameras, two different scopes, two
scopes.
different flatteners, two different everything. So you want to
Yep.
make sure that you tweak it. And how I tweaked it is like I played the game. I was like, all right, well, my focus or my FWHM is less than 6. Okay. So that means it's going to accept anything from 6 and under.
Right.
Right? So I would look at a 6.1 and see if I see a difference in the largeness of the stars compared to a 5.9. And I would see the difference. And if I don't see a difference, I'll go to a 6.2. And then I'll look and I'll see and I'll play around until I start seeing a difference. Now, once I see a difference in that, I go back to the last one that I saw because I definitely want the last number, so let's say 6.1. Then I'll move to eccentricity and see, okay, you know what number am I going to allow before I start seeing odd-shaped stars? And then I'll get those two numbers, plug them into the expression, and it gets rid of everything.
Okay, Sean's going to throw a big fat
Yeah, I
monkey
saw.
wrench into your whole thing.
I know.
You just ran XI.
Oh, what do
Yeah.
you mean?
It
It doesn't work for
fine.
me. Didn't work for me. All right. Maybe it's user error. It definitely could be. Sean knows a lot more than me. So, but it didn't work for me. It literally crapped out. I'm old
Yeah,
school.
the,
I speak manually. Yeah.
Yeah, that batch format conversion script, by the way, when you select your XISF, the XISF files, you want to make sure that you write in the output directory, right? You write
Fits.
in dot fits,
Yep.
and then it'll go through and do all that. But yeah,
Now you're gonna make me look at Pix Insight, Sean, because I'm sure it works. I'm sure it works. You did it. So
now I'm wondering what the heck you did wrong.
that's what
Why
I'm
it
wondering.
wouldn't read the XISF
Yeah.
file. Do you remember what the error message was?
Off the top of my head,
No.
it didn't. No, it didn't register anything. It just stopped after. It wouldn't even register the files. To be honest with you. All right, Sean. Thanks, man. You totally blew me up. But hey, listen,
It's a damn thing. Yeah.
we would rather have right information than wrong information. So probably user error. That would be me. And so forgot to tick a box. Probably.
Yeah. I'm also in that camp where I blink, but I've been blinking from the beginning. So
That's the only reason
everything.
why you bought it for is
But-
to play.
And it worked for me.
Yeah. Yep. Tarek saying it works. All right. All right, guys. I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
It's all
I
good.
It must have been something that I did. I probably got all frustrated with that stupid body cap that I couldn't get on. But all right.
Now you're just gonna have to go back in and fiddle with it.
Yep. Yeah, I'm speechless right now. All righty. There we go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, we heard from the master. We heard them from Master Sean. So, and if you haven't checked out Sean's stuff, check it out at visibledark.ca or check it out Visible Dark on YouTube. So he's awesome. Thank you, Sean. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, well, it happens. It's embarrassing when you get caught like that, but what are you gonna do? It happens.
It happened.
I gave up being embarrassed a long time ago.
Well, you know.
I can walk through the grocery store, nothing but my BVDs, no problem. I get arrested, but I won't be embarrassed.
All right.
What time is it? Are we done yet? 15 minutes. All right, we're almost done.
Yeah.
See, this is how you get to shorten the show.
1908. 19 minutes left. All right. So,
Okay.
so you haven't done any imaging.
No.
Scott hasn't done any imaging. He's all packed up, ready to go. Any news on the move, Scott?
It's well, I did have a couple of snafus with the house. There was some. I had to have some repairs done on some things that were hidden pretty well. But the good news is it's all done. So we're still on track.
Good.
But it's just it's a process, and I'm just running with it. I mean, when it happens, it happens, and we're ready to go. It's just a matter of of getting things in the proper hoops, jumping through those proper hoops.
Okay.
And but
we wish you and your
we're
family
hoping
all the
to
luck.
be down there before December.
You want a jet before the winter kicks.
I personally don't care about that. My wife is completely bugging about driving in, with a trailer behind a Jeep with she's in the snow. She's completely bugging out. So I'm trying to convince her that it's no big deal.
I know,
it really
but
isn't
rightfully so. I mean, if you've never done it a lot, or you've never done it at all, it's a nerve-wracking thing. So.
But I'd like to be down there before December, but we're just gonna have to play it by ear. We're still in the works. It's still going. It's just a matter of getting through those hoops.
Good. Yeah.
But it is killing me that I can't get out there and I have no place to put this scope. I have no place to put it. I literally, my garage is chock full, and I'm not leaving it outside. No way. So and I can't tear it down and set it up and tear it down and set it up. No, it's.
Steve wants to know where you.
It's killing me.
Where you headed, Scott?
Yeah, I'm going to Florida. Yeah,
it's going to be a snowbird.
Yeah, well, we're going to be a permanent resident.
Yeah, permanent snowbird.
Yeah, you're permanent. So is it in the Tampa area, or is it
just above Tampa? We're looking in the Spring Hill, Weeki Wachee. Weeki Wachee is really a beautiful part of Florida. It's got some of the most amazing crystal clear, spring-fed rivers, freshwater rivers. I mean, the visibility is unbelievable. You can't even imagine water that clear.
And remember, you heard it on AstroWorld. Weeki Wachee is one of the best fresh river areas in Florida. So, Weeki
it's incredible.
As opposed to Wikipedia.
And also Homosassa and
Weeki Wachee.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Brooksville. It's a beautiful area. It really is. It's all Seminole Indian names. Those are all Seminole Indian names.
Yeah. The tough thing for me, being in that would be tough for me for Florida, is the humidity. The humidity and also, the humidity and would be the toughest thing, and and of course in the storms and the
The
rain and
the
stuff
four
like
o'clock
that.
thunderstorm, man. That's
Yeah, those would personally those would be the tough things for me. Especially dealing with AP and stuff.
yeah,
That
man. I'm
that
with you
would be
there.
tough.
Yeah, that's why.
That'd
That's
be
why
tough for me.
I'll meet you halfway. I'm gonna go to the North Carolina probably eventually. Jen's already looking for job. Well, Jen's already. We're all looking for stuff. So
So yeah, so you guys all know what
Well,
I'm trying to get to. So hey, it's all good.
yeah.
there's a big difference between, deep South Florida and, central or northern Florida, old Florida.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know,
I'm sure.
it still gets hot, but I mean, we got 2.5 months out of the year where you are inside versus up here where you're inside for 8 months out of the year because
Yeah.
of the nasty weather. So,
Yeah.
I'm just done with snow.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Like I said, get me to the Southwest. I'll be all good. Even if I'm
Yeah.
up in the mountains where I can, see the seasons change, that's fine for me too.
I just can't wait to take the drone out once the leaves start changing and stuff. I
Okay.
can't wait. I'm excited to do that.
So you say you're working on the Wizard right now.
Yeah.
You working on anything else, or you plan on working on
Well, I'm
anything
doing
else upcoming
yeah.
soon?
Well, I'm doing two targets at the same time because of the way my house is set up. The wizard um, kind of disappears at like 1 or 2 in the morning because of the
Right.
trees in my backyard. So once that happens, I switch over to the Pac-Man. And
Okay.
so I'm getting the Pac-Man, and then I'm working my way back to, you know, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, and
Right.
then I end the session there. Now once Orion clears
Hmm.
and the Pleiades clear the
Hmm.
trees in my backyard, Pleiades is definitely going to be the broadband target that I'm doing for the winter,
Okay.
along with M42. Those I have a good M42 with a 14-inch scope, but it
Hmm.
takes up the whole frame. I mean, it's not,
Hmm.
you don't get the whole Running Man thing kind of, you don't, and I like that kind of scene.
So are you
Mosaic.
saying so would you prefer doing M42? Are you doing that in narrowband, or would you prefer
No,
doing M42
no,
in
that'll be
broadband?
broadband. That'll be broadband.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean narrowband. I don't think it
Might
would
be
be as
interesting for
good. It might be
statistician.
good to add like the HA
Hmm.
to an RGB.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
I
Yeah.
think that's something I
that's what
might
I was
do.
thinking.
Like maybe do an HA RGB instead of an LRGB.
Hmm.
Because I could
Hmm.
do the HA while doing the RGB with the color. I could have it done in a night if I could just get it all
Right.
pointed at the same place. Would be fine.
Right.
But I could have M42 done in 2 nights.
Sure.
In 2 nights I could have logistically. I could probably have it. I could probably have 16 or 17 hours times two
Hmm.
worth of
At
data.
which scope? What focal length?
One's 952, one's 400.
Yeah, but which? Oh, you're going to do both of them.
So the main image will be 952.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you got to do. I could downscale the 952 to reach the 400, but I don't think it would look as good as opposed to upscaling the 400
Hmm.
and doing it that way. So there's not that far away in focal ratio where it's out of the realm to do either. But I think that I like the framing of the 952.
Hmm.
The 400 you get the Running Man. The 952 I'll have to do a mosaic like you were alluding to
Yeah.
before.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll probably have to do a 2 panel to get them both.
Right.
And I think that's what I'm probably going to end up doing. Maybe I'll do a 4 panel and add the horse head somewhere in there.
Okay.
You know,
That was the I was going to do Andromeda like that. A 4 panel or even bigger. A 6 panel mosaic. But the M42 shooting through that hyperstar. At 715 millimeter, one shot color at f1.9. Hello.
Yeah.
That'd be really that'd be that. I agree with you. That'd be a lot of fun.
And in
The only
Florida,
downside is
it's almost overhead.
yeah, that's true. But I
It's
don't.
not 35 degrees above the horizon like in New York.
That's true. That's true. The only narrowband filter that I have for the front of the scope like that is a quad band. I'd have to get an HA, a 2-inch HA unmounted, or a 2-inch HA mounted. I think is the
mounted.
Right.
Yeah, it's a mounted. Yeah, for that filter drawer.
Yep, you would have to get it mounted.
But
Yeah. Because one reason is I'm thinking is using the Rasa, because I'm with me being down to the 2 scopes, I'm either going to do 400 or I'm doing 1425 at f7 with the edge.
Yep.
I'm more than likely when I do M42, it's going to be with the Rasa at the 400.
Yeah.
But my decision, I'm trying to make decisions on should I go with the camera, should I just stick with the one-shot color and do NBZ to get the HA and everything, and then maybe grab a the Beta Moon and Sky Glow and do the broadband
for the RGB. So
for the RGB,
yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. I mean,
yeah.
Then you got, just like what Sean was alluding to before, the HARGB, and you're doing the one-shot color with one, and you're doing the H alpha with another mono camera, and then you're done. I mean, he's exactly right when he says that.
That's what I was thinking. Is that with AstroPixel processor, you can extract the HA,
right?
So extract the HA from using the NBZ,
right?
And then I can do possibly, and then do some a RGB combine of using APP, to combine that Beta data, that broadband data, I guess, with the NBZ data.
Well, you would actually, because you're doing the RGB data, you're doing one-shot color, right?
Yeah, I'm still do one. Everything's going to be with the 294 MC, so it's going to be one-shot color.
This is in your backyard?
Okay, so you're using the IDAS, you're doing one-shot color, you're extracting the HA. So then what, I mean, if anybody wanted to go out there, what I would do is I would take the HA and I would process that as my luminance separately.
Okay.
Do your RGB, process that separately.
And
then you add your pseudo luminance or H alpha luminance to the finished RGB.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you don't want to do an LRGB combine, because it's actually, you know this too well as well, that when you're processing color data and luminance data, it's 2 different types of processes.
Right.
One you're using deconvolution, the other one using color calibration,
right.
A couple different things are going on. So you don't want to corrupt one with the process from another. So keep the RGB separate, the luminance / H alpha separate, and then combine the luminance later on. It'll pop.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Sean was saying the same thing.
Yeah, Jim was asking, is RGB data used more for star colors?
That's what I use it for my narrowband. Yeah.
Yeah, for narrowband, yeah. But when you're talking like something like a target like M42,
yeah, you got to go broadband.
Yeah, you have to go broadband, and it's not just for the stars. Then you're also doing it for that nebulosity.
Yeah, because it's not a narrowband target. M42. Right. It's not a narrowband. It's a broadband target. It's got super nice colors. It's got the red. It's got the real whites, the blue stars, and the trapezium. It's got a whole bunch of stuff going on. Not to mention just a little bit over to the side, the Running Man Nebula, which is right there as well. And so certain targets are narrowband targets. Certain targets aren't, just because of their chemical composition.
Right.
And so it's important to know that. And that's why we were talking about, what was it, a couple of months ago? I wish somebody would come out with just a list of narrowband targets, not the 405 for winter, whatever, or like do the whole Sharpless catalog and say, okay, which one's narrowband, which one's broadband, what should I do? Do the whole Messier catalog. What can I do in broadband? What can I? Well, that's not really good because most of that is broadband anyway. But
yeah, well, the RGB is native. It had the one-shot color. It's basically just a monochrome camera that has a filter, on top of it that splits it into RGB. And that. But if it's the downside to that, for those that don't know, I know you guys understand this, but is that you lose resolution. Because you're splitting it into 4 channels, in each picture. That's why, people use the monochrome cameras, because then you can get all of that resolution in one camera, in one shot, and you do it, but you do it with 3 separate filters.
Right.
And that's why the monochrome, images shot in RGB or LRGB are so amazing in their detail, is because you're not splitting that down into. And I don't know why I'm having a brain fart on this. What the hell is that filter called? It's just left me. That's on the one-shot color cameras.
Bayer Matrix.
Bayer. It just left me. I just couldn't remember. I couldn't remember what it was called. Bayer Matrix. Thank you.
Yeah.
And
in monochrome, you also get a little bit more light pollution protection, taking individual channels as opposed to RGB, where you're actually taking 4 channels. You're taking usually 2 greens, a blue, and a red. And it's you're getting more issues with light pollution, less sensitivity with the CMOS, but you get a cheaper camera, faster download speeds, a bigger chip for a lower price. So, so there are pros and cons to both.
There are trade-offs.
They keep on making fun of me that I keep on buying CCDs. It's like I'm like the only one that has a VHS player floating around and a cassette deck recorder right there that I'm transferring tapes to. But I'm slowly getting ready.
The VHS in the car still. You got the beta cassettes. Remember the beta cassettes?
I don't know. I never bought a Betamax. I never bought a Betamax. So
or an 8-track. You get the 8-track player in the car.
I have the 8-track. I got some Elvis Presley on it and Elvis Presley and the Beach Boys. But I got my ADC on my 290, and I'm going to attempt, hopefully this week while I'm on vacation, to image Saturn and/or Jupiter from my 12-inch Dob. I'm gonna try.
Okay.
See what
is that a go-to Dob?
Nope.
Ooh.
Nope. It's a challenge.
He's up for a challenge.
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
GWO, I should say. But
the hell you say?
So I'm gonna try it. I was doing some reading on how to kind of align the ADC, and I know Eric has spoken about it on a number of occasions, a couple of shows in a row. But I'm going to give it a shot. I've had this ADC for 3 years. I've never used it. Just one of those things. Oh, this is cool. I'll buy it. It was what, $128, whatever it was. But that should be kind of cool. We'll see. And I want to try it with that Sharp Cap plug-in with the ADC.
For planetary?
Okay.
Yeah, with the ADC. We'll see. So I'll use Sharp Cap for the ADC and capture a fire cap, and see how it works out.
Yeah, let us know.
Nice.
Hopefully I can get it done, because can't do it tomorrow night. Islanders game 1 is tomorrow night, so I can't do it tomorrow night. And don't worry, I don't cancel shows in hockey season that's not playoffs. If it's playoffs, I cancel shows. We'll let Eric run it.
No.
Tegan had a really good picture of Jupiter. You guys
He
saw that?
did. I did see it. I
He
saw
did.
it. It looked awesome. But,
That was
Yes, he did.
that was right borderline planetary porn right there.
yeah. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it was a nice looking picture.
NC-17 to R. Only another couple of minutes will be in X, but we're closing out the show in 27 seconds. So just
That's
really
a nice
quick.
picture.
It was a nice picture. It was really good. He did an awesome job with it. Did you see the 4th episode of Foundation?
No, I haven't.
Best episode so far,
Okay.
without a doubt.
Okay.
It got
Okay.
better. Hopefully it goes in this swing. So
Okay.
it took a while to get there, but they're changing a lot of things, but I'm dealing with it in my own private way. But it's
It involves Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels, some Xanax, a couple other things.
Sure.
But it definitely got better. That's all I'll say about that.
Good,
So if you haven't
good.
seen it, definitely the best episode so far. And of course, just like probably everybody else that's watching, I binged Squid Game in 2 days.
Squid Game. What is this?
Squid
It's
Game.
a new Squid. It's a Korean.
Squid.
It's a Korean. It's a Korean TV. It's a Korean Netflix. It's on Netflix.
Yep.
It's a Korean series. It's quite interesting.
Okay.
I haven't seen it all the way through, but I did see maybe a part of an episode, but I
Yeah,
haven't gotten into it myself yet.
So basically, without any spoilers, it's kind of like a Korean Hunger Games in modern day kind of thing, but it's a lot more gross. But basically, they get a whole bunch of people that are super in debt, and whatever. They can't get out of the hole. And they say, "Come play games with us, and you could win up to 48 billion won." Which is the Korean, which turns out to be about 30 billion American dollars, but every time you lose a game, you get killed. You don't live.
Someone
You
dies.
die.
Someone dies. Yeah.
And like
Sounds like The Running Man.
it's, I said the same thing. Same thing, but it was the way they did it. And the way, the end, reminded me of The Matrix. But the whole show was really, really good. The music is sick. And really, really cool. But anyway, never heard of
Let
it.
me share something. Yeah. Let me share something with you guys.
Yeah,
Really
go.
quick, an image.
Oh, an image? We do image?
Yeah, an image.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, let me share this with you.
Oh,
This
no.
was an old image. This was using the 533, so let me share this.
Okay.
And this is something. This is
Okay.
M42. This is
Yeah.
with the Rasa.
Yeah.
And this was with a dual band filter. I want to say this was with the L Enhance.
Really? It looks very white.
It wasn't.
To be on.
Yeah, it's exact. Yeah, and that's what So if I zoom out here, the thing is that grabbing. I'm not as much concerned about the core and everything. It's more the cloud detail, the dust, is what I think is one of the big things that interests me, and that I find fascinating, especially like these dust, this dust here, and these cloud here, with this narrow. And I believe this was with a narrow band, but like I said, with a dual narrow band filter. This wasn't a broadband. So, and that's when when we're talking about doing the HA and RGB, is I want to be able to grab and pull as much of this data out as I can of that dust, and that is what I really am trying to go after. Because then, but this the whole white and gray and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was always, that's why I never, went forward with this. Not to mention the star here, and as you can see that, with the Rasa,
Yep. I
how
see
it
the.
all
Oh,
bloated
wow, look at
everything out,
that.
and you can see
The line.
the
Yeah.
cable. Yeah, you can see the line from the cable and everything. It was
I didn't even
just
notice
way
that.
Oh
too
yeah.
much. Yeah, it was just way too
Yep.
much, and that's one of the things that, drove me nuts with the Ellen hand was, the bloat. And also, and not only that, also with using it with the Rasa, the halo effect. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I would get really bad halos on bright stars.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's one of those things, but I do like, the only thing I like about this picture is the amount of detail of the cloud that it brings out,
Yep.
but I want to be able to, if once I get back into this and using the NBZ,
Yep.
hopefully I can use the NBZ with this to get that HA, and hopefully not have this star bloat here, and then do, with the broadband filter.
Yep.
So we'll see.
And you got some questions about your image, like how long, how much.
Oh gosh, with this being the Rasa, honestly, this was probably maybe 2 to 3 minutes, maybe 2 minutes.
That's one raw.
No, this was all processed.
Yeah. How much
but
is in there?
Sorry.
I was like,
If I
damn,
go
that's
back,
good. I'm going to go get a Rasa.
No.
2 minutes. Oh.
But let me go to my lights here. Yeah, these were 2 minutes. These were 2-minute exposures.
And how many exposures?
How many?
What's the total
And
integration?
60. I did
So
about, it was
60,
around
100,
60.
So 120 minutes, 2 hours.
Yeah, about a couple hours.
All right.
Yeah, about
That's
2
not bad.
hours.
There you go.
It's not bad.
No,
That's
it's not.
awesome. Now,
You-
go ahead.
I'm just curious, Eric. Do you have a cable routing jig for your Rasa yet?
I do, and I've been going back and forth with it, because even this, I believe, had a cable routing setup. It was just also me using the what was it? The heaters.
Yep.
And you have those double, with the Y cables, with the
Yep.
Y with the Y cable, it just, it just screws things up.
Yeah.
So it makes it kind of difficult.
The
But
one
even
that I'm
without
referencing is it has a
The
I
half
have
moon.
one. It's just
It's a half moon
it's
thing.
buried. Yeah.
Yep.
It literally sits on the outer ring of the
Yeah.
of the just outside the corrector plate. It's got that arc that goes
Yep,
all the
I have
way
one of
all the way
those.
down to
Yeah.
the corrector ring.
Yep, yeah, I have one of those, and right now I don't have it on there. I was able to, do some other things in Velcro and stuff like that to try to tighten things up. But yeah, when I first got the Rasa, I did end up purchasing, this 3D printed arc type, and then started taping, the cables, actually Velcroing or taping the cables to it and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And it didn't.
Yeah,
But it's really tough the tough part is, with the Rasa, is always, like I said, dealing with the brighter stars and the way they bloat. And if you do a long exposure like this was just 2 minutes, you get that halo effect, and you don't, I mean, it just knocks things out, because, for example, if I went to another image, if I can find it here. Yeah. So here's another image, if I can share this. And I believe this was with a different camera. Let me go back here and just let me share again. Share. And this was also with the Rasa. Wrong one. And this was much shorter.
Yep.
And this was with, if I go back, this was with the L Pro. And if I open up that file location, these were 30 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, those lights. Yeah, these lights were 30 seconds. So these were 30-second light. 30-second exposures.
Gotcha.
So you can tell the difference, just from that. And these was with the Rasa too. 30 seconds, and then you go, or 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So, and with 30 seconds, I didn't get that bloating.
Yep.
But with those 2 minutes, look what happens.
Yep. Yeah, well, you got to, especially when you go in that
so
fast.
much detail.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you get so much more detail.
Yeah, but if you just
gotta
took
be able
more
to control
subs, then you would have been good.
You think so? If I would just took more of the 30-second subs?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Is that how long your subs were? Were they just 30 seconds? That's it?
Well, the
for
2
this
minutes.
image, yeah, this was 30-second subs, and if I can look here, how many of these?
How many 30-second subs?
Not very many.
It doesn't
This
look like a
was
lot.
20. Yeah, this was 20, 19.
So
19.
that's 10 minutes worth of data.
Yeah.
Right.
So so you think
that's a
about it.
big
If you
difference.
took more 30-second exposures, you got to, especially when you got pain in the butt stars like that,
Mm-hmm.
on attack, another being a massive offender of this. Especially when you're shooting at f2, you're
Yeah.
going to have to find the sweet spot for that object.
Yes.
And because it's going to be different for every object, because not every object has a star that's as blatantly bright as that. So
Right.
you're going to have to find a sweet spot with the RAS and say maybe it's 45 seconds. And then you don't see that halo. And then take a crap ton of 45-second shots. I'd like to see 2 hours worth of 45-second shots and see what that
Sure.
looks like compared to
See what
that.
this looks like.
You
Okay.
know what I mean? That's what I would like to
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
compare the
yeah.
two.
And compare to the two. Sure.
Yeah.
Well, light is light. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's terrestrial or celestial. There's all kinds of, it's, and the way you capture the light, it, for instance, one of the problems that we have with people, shooting pictures of themselves is that they underexpose themselves and they overexpose the sky.
Yeah.
Right.
So
So
sky's white.
they'll expose for themselves and they'll blow out the sky. Right.
Yeah.
They'll completely blow out the sky. So the sky is completely white. They're exposed correctly, but the sky looks horrid. Well, now you can fix that by adding light to it, like with a flash, but you can also fix it by bracketing. Right. So if you bracket where you shoot multiple exposures at different exposure times, then you expose for the sky and you expose for the subject, but you're not using a flash.
Right.
Right. It's a process in terrestrial photography here on the Earth that we call bracketing. There's got to be something similar with astrophotography where you can
do
dumb
use
down.
bracketing in astrophotography when you're dealing with things like solar eclipses. You do use
Exactly.
bracketing for that as well, because you don't want to blow out the coronal flash, but you don't want to, you don't want to overexpose the shadow either.
Right.
Not the shadow,
Right.
but the moon.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
But now I
I-
have a challenge for myself.
There you go. Now we got
like you say,
two challenges.
to find the sweet spot for my Rasa as far as with these brighter objects, of M42, Horsehead, M45, for example. These brighter stars. What exactly is that sweet spot where you don't have that halo effect, and then just to your point, just shoot just a crap load of them, and then get
Sean
as
even
much
said
detail
take
as
it
you
one
can.
step lower, do 10-second subs, and just take a whole load of them. Forget
Well,
about guiding.
and you should.
You don't need to guide.
The way my mind works on this is that the problem is not the acquisition of the data for your dust lanes, because that's just a matter of getting lots of subs. It's more about eliminating the problem with that star. So if you figure out where, like exactly what Dan was saying, you figure out what the time is. Just take a shot. Take a 10-second shot, look at it. Take a 20-second shot, look at it. And see if you're getting that, and you should be able to narrow that down pretty quickly.
And you really
as
want
to
Sure.
how long.
when you look at that data though, that 45 or 30-second or 20-second shot, do a crazy stretch on it and blow it
Yeah.
out. Like literally blow it
Mhm.
out and see if that halo is coming up.
Exactly.
And
Mhm.
you know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Don't just look at it and say, "Oh, it looks good," because once you stack it, it's going to be there, and you're not going to
Right.
know it from looking at the subs. But do a really crazy, like a super stretch on it, and see if that halo, becomes visual. But
Okay.
you can
Okay.
also do what Sean said and take 10-second subs and the hell with everything else,
Mm-hmm.
and just take 3 hours of 10-second subs.
Right.
And write everything down. Write all your processing down so that not only
That's
you
another
remember
good
it for
point.
yourself, but
Yep.
you can share it with the rest of everybody. Going back into your mind. My uncle did that with his guns. I mean, he was a big time hunter, and I mean, the man would dial in the harmonics of barrels, with bullets, and he would have weights to grains and this and that, and he wrote everything down. And
Mhm.
because of that, he passed it on to his kids. That's what I'm saying. With this stuff, man, write that stuff down. That's gold. That stuff is gold.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Good
Well,
deal.
We're
I
10:48.
know we're over now.
Yeah, we're over.
I know we're well over.
No,
Yep.
it's okay. We had that's a good conversation. Got some good images, good ideas, a couple of challenges. Just again, some cleaning up house.
Yep.
Next month, the 17th, Warren Keller. The following month for Christmas, December 17th, Amy Astro. And first quarter, 2022. We're in 2022. Will be the Prima Luce trio, Tom, Filippo, and Omar. And that's going to be
Nice.
exciting. And we're always looking for Sean to come back and hang out with us. So, Sean, come on back. We miss you. Thanks
He's
for.
like, hell no, you
By the
guys are
way,
crazy.
Sean, I got to say, thank you, Sean, for all your help in dealing with my crazy text messages and all that. So thank you for helping me out with all my PixInsight issues. Sean's a great resource, and just don't abuse him like I do. That's all. But anyway, that being said,
Awesome.
final thoughts. We'll have the Jerry's final thoughts to Scott. No throwing of the Jerry beads.
Just remember that photography is literally the art of painting with light, and that's what we do. We paint with light, and that, become a master of light. Doesn't matter if it's stars or, or something here, waterfall. Doesn't matter what it is. Your objects, everything has to do with light and how you master it. So
That's interesting.
Good.
That's good.
That's a good way to. That's good advice, and that's a good way to look at it. It is. It's all about the light. So
Mr. Eric?
no. Again, thanks everybody for all of the support. On our, for here for AstroWorld and for our own individual channels and all of that stuff. And I'm gonna keep plugging away with this ROSA because it's probably gonna. I'm probably gonna spend a lot more time. I think now as we're getting closer to winter. I haven't spent as much time with the ROSA as I should, I think. So I'm going to spend more time mastering it because that's probably another good reason why I got rid of so many of my scopes. Now I can spend time focusing on just these two and mastering these two,
Yep.
and these particular cameras before, instead of having so many others. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, and I have a vested interest in that as well, Eric, with and seeing you succeed with that because I have that Hyperstar, which is basically the Ross's kissing cousin.
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. Yeah, so it's gonna spend a lot more time with it. Just I need the skies.
Yeah.
I need the sky.
Hopefully soon. But
Yeah, for sure.
all right. Well, that being said, we're coming up on 11 o'clock Eastern. And it's time to say goodnight. Don't worry, I won't sing "Goodnight, Sweetheart" by the
Thank
by
you.
Shana
Appreciate
Na.
All right, I'm out of here, guys.
Have a good night, guys. As always, keep imaging, keep educating, and clear skies. And we'll see you next time on Astro. See you Friday night. Have a good night, guys.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night, everybody.